My beloved child, I remember every prayer you have lifted up in the darkest nights of your life. I remember the times you knelt down with a heart heavy with burdens, speaking to me through tears until there were no words left to say. There were moments when all you could do was remain silent because your soul was too weary to keep asking. But my beloved child, that silence was never empty before me. I heard even the sighs your lips could not express. As Romans 8:26 says, the Spirit Himself intercedes for us with groanings too deep for words. Not one of your tears has fallen without me remembering it. Not one night have you stayed awake in pain while I turned my face away. I have also seen the mornings when you woke up with an exhausted soul, when your heart no longer felt strong or full of hope. Yet you still whispered, "Lord, I still believe in you." My beloved child, those small words move heaven more than you know. True faith is not only praising when everything is going well. True faith is when your heart still turns back to me in the middle of weariness and disappointment. People may not see the battle you are going through, but I see it, and I have never forgotten a single moment of that journey. Now, I am answering you, not with a great thunderclap or with things that immediately astonish the world, but with the gentle breath of restoration beginning to touch your soul. Just as Elijah encountered me not in the great wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in the gentle whisper, I am drawing near to you in the same way. There are miracles that do not begin with outward commotion. They begin with your heart slowly finding peace again, with the light of hope returning to the place where you once thought only darkness remained. My beloved child, true breakthrough is not only when circumstances change. Breakthrough is when the veil that once covered the eyes of your soul is lifted, and you realize that I have never left you, not even for a moment. There were seasons when you thought you had been left behind in loneliness, but in truth, I was drawing you into a deeper place of intimacy with me. It was in the days when no one understood you that you learned to hear my voice more clearly. It was through the times you were wounded that I taught you to love with a softer heart instead of a more bitter one. And it is in the long seasons of waiting that I am causing your faith to take root deeper than your eyes can see. Do not think trials come to destroy you. If I had wanted to break you, I would not have kept you standing until this day. The trials you have passed through are like the fire that refines gold. Fire does not create gold. It only reveals the purity already within it. You are the same. My beloved child, there are things I placed within your soul long ago, but they needed to be refined through the painful journey so they could shine in the right way. As Job 23:10 says, when he has tried me, I shall come forth as gold. Do not fear the fire of refinement, for I stand with you in it. Look at the seed lying beneath the ground. For many days, no one sees anything happening. Everything appears silent and meaningless. But beneath that dark layer of soil, roots are quietly pushing deep. If the seed were to rise too soon before its roots were firm, the first wind would carry it away. That is why I allow it to remain in the darkness long enough for the life inside it to become stronger than anything outside could destroy. You are the same. The promises I have planted within you are not dead. They are taking root. What you call nothing is happening is often the very season in which heaven is preparing the foundation for the breakthrough ahead. Remember Job, my beloved child. There were times when he lost almost everything: his family, his possessions, his health, and his honor. Others looked at him and thought his life was over. But in the ashes of pain, he still held on to me with the little faith he had left. He said, though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. And after the season of testing, I restored him not only with what he had lost, but with twice as much. Do you see? Breakthrough does not come by avoiding pain. Many times, it is born right in the midst of that pain. for only a soul that has passed through the fire knows how to treasure the light. I know there are times when you wonder why you have had to go through so much. But my beloved child, I did not allow those things to happen to make your life meaningless. I am creating within you a new capacity for my glory. If I gave you everything while your soul was still fragile, you would not be able to carry what I desire to give. So I use both tears and waiting to enlarge your heart. Do not look at the present and conclude that I have not acted. The roots of a tree do not appear above the ground, but they are still alive. Your breakthrough has already begun in places your eyes cannot yet see. Heaven is moving quietly around your life. There are doors I am preparing to open. There are chains I am weakening day by day. There are promises drawing closer to the moment of fulfillment. So today, my beloved child, continue to trust, not because you see everything clearly, but because you know who I am. I am the one who does not break his promises. I am the one who does not forget the work my hands have begun. And a day will come when you look back on all those seasons of pain, those silent nights, and those tears that once fell, and you will realize that they were the very things that led you to the breakthrough I had prepared for you, a place where your soul is not only restored, but reflects my glory more powerfully than ever before. My beloved child, engrave this deep within your soul. I have never searched for flawless people to carry out my will. I do not choose people because they are more perfect than others, but because they are willing to open their hearts for me to touch. There are souls who appear very strong on the outside, yet inwardly remain closed to my calling. And there are also people full of cracks, people who have stumbled and been broken, yet their hearts still know how to weep before me and say, Father, please use me. My beloved child, hearts like these often become the very places where my power is revealed most clearly. As 2 Corinthians 4:7 says, we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. Look at the seed buried deep beneath the ground. To human eyes, it seems to have disappeared into the darkness, buried and forgotten. But in that very darkness, life quietly begins. When light and water touch it at the right time, the seed rises, breaks through the heavy soil, and becomes a tree that bears fruit. You are the same. My beloved child, there are seasons when you think your life is nothing more than a field covered with pain and disappointment. You think your dreams have been buried forever, but I have never forgotten the seed I planted within you. What I placed in your soul cannot die simply because the winter has lasted long. When my appointed time comes, life will rise from the place where you thought only ashes remained. I know there are days when you look back at the past and feel unworthy to be called by me. Old mistakes follow you like a shadow. You remember the times you were weak, the wrong decisions, the seasons when your life wandered off course, and then you wonder how I could still use someone like you. But, my beloved child, the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. As Romans 11:29 says, I do not withdraw my calling simply because you once stumbled. If that were so, no one would have hope. I knew every weakness in you before I called your name, and still I chose to love you. Remember Peter, my beloved child. He denied me 3 times on the night I was arrested. He trembled in fear before the questioning of a servant girl. In the eyes of the world, that failure seemed far too great for someone called to be a disciple. But I did not allow his final mistake to define his life. After that breaking, I met him again by the seashore, not to condemn him, but to restore him. 3 times I asked him, do you love me? And then I entrusted him once more with the mission of shepherding my flock. Do you see? My beloved child, I do not only forgive, I restore. I do not only heal wounds, I turn those wounds into places where my grace can be seen more clearly. There are souls I allow to pass through brokenness, not so they will be destroyed, but so they may become a source of healing for others. A mother who once cried herself empty through loss later becomes comforting arms for other grieving mothers. Someone who once sank deep into sin but was rescued by me becomes a voice leading others out of chains. A person who once lost everything they depended on rises again to testify that I alone am the foundation that never collapses. My beloved child, I can use the very thing that once hurt you the most to bring life to others. As 2 Corinthians 1:4 says, God comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble. Do not be ashamed of the cracks within your soul. The places where light passes through are often the places that were once broken. The world may look at your weakness and think it is a sign of failure, but I see the very place where my power will shine the brightest. When I use a life that was once shattered to bring hope to others, no one will be able to say it was the work of human strength. They will know it is the work of grace. I want you to stop living under the weight of condemnation. You are no longer a prisoner of your past. The blood of Christ is stronger than every mistake you have ever made. When I forgive, I do not keep old records to shame you forever. As Psalm 103:12 says, as far as the east is from the west, so far has He removed our transgressions from us. If I have released your past, why do you continue to hold on to it? My beloved child, do not think your weakness causes my plans to fail. It is often in the places where you think you are most fragile that I do my greatest works. Gideon once believed he was the least in his father's house, yet I used him to deliver an entire nation. David was only an unknown shepherd boy, yet I made him a king. Mary was only a young girl from a small village, yet I chose her to carry the Savior into the world. I do not need human perfection to perform miracles. I only need a heart willing to say, Father, let your will be done. So today, stop running from my calling. Stop believing that you must perfect yourself before coming near to me. It is when you come in the honesty of your weakness that I can clothe you with new strength from heaven. Let me restore you. Let me use your very life story as a lamp for souls who are lost. And then you will realize that the most beautiful thing I do is not hiding your old wounds, but turning them into living proof that my love can make broken things bloom again. My beloved child, let your heart rest in this truth. My choosing of you was never meant to be a burden placed upon your shoulders, but an invitation into everlasting love and eternal purpose. I did not call you to force you to prove your worth. I did not place a calling upon your life to make you live in fear or pressure. I called you because I love you. I desire for your life to become living proof that my love can restore what is broken, renew what has become dry, and bring light to souls who once believed they were surrounded only by darkness. As Jeremiah 31:3 says, I have loved you with an everlasting love. My beloved child, my choice did not begin with your ability, but with my heart. Therefore, do not walk with your head bowed as though you have been forgotten. Walk in the peace of a child who knows that their Father goes before them, no matter how small you may feel. Remember that it was I who breathed my life into you, and within that breath is the imprint of heaven itself. When I created you, I did not create a meaningless soul in this vast world. I placed within you a unique light, purpose, and calling that no one else can replace. You may not yet fully see it, but heaven sees it. And what I placed within you is enough to make darkness retreat when you walk in my presence. But my beloved child, when you begin to realize that you are chosen, that is not the end. It is where the true journey begins. Many people think that being called by me means every road will become easy. Yet my calling often leads you through places where only faith can keep you standing. For when I call a soul, I also prepare that soul for something greater than themselves. When I give a mission, I also refine the heart so it can carry what I entrust without losing humility and love. Look at Jacob, my beloved child. I called him and gave him a great promise. Yet before he could step into that destiny, he had to wrestle through the night beside the river Jabbok. It was there that I touched him, changed his name, and transformed his entire being. Do you see, my beloved child? A calling does not only change outward circumstances, it changes the soul itself. I do not only desire to use you for great works, I desire for you to become more like me through the journey. There will be times when I lead you into places where human understanding is no longer enough. You will stand before unopened doors, long seasons of waiting, and trials that make you wonder why I would allow such things to happen. Yet it is there that I am teaching you the most precious lesson of all, to trust me beyond what your eyes can see. As Proverbs 3:5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." True faith is not understanding everything before taking a step. True faith is knowing that I am still good even when you do not yet understand what I am doing. Trusting me does not mean you will always feel strong. There will be days when your heart still trembles. There will be nights when you still ask me questions through tears. But faith is not measured by the absence of fear. It is measured by your willingness to keep walking toward me even while your heart feels weak. Peter stepped out of the boat in the middle of the storm, not because the sea was calm, but because his eyes were fixed on me. And even when he began to sink because of fear, I still reached out my hand and held him. You are the same. My beloved child, I do not love you less simply because your faith sometimes wavers. What I desire is that you continue returning to me in every season of life. There are promises I have placed within your heart that still seem far away right now. There are prayers you have prayed for so long without yet seeing them fulfilled. But do not let delay make you doubt my faithfulness. Abraham waited many years before he saw Isaac. Joseph walked through prison before entering the palace. David was anointed king while still young, yet he spent years living among caves and being pursued. I am not delaying. I am building within you what is necessary so that when the season of promise arrives, you will be able to stand firmly within it. My beloved child, true faith is not built upon the results you desire, but upon who I am. If your faith only exists when everything goes well, it will easily collapse when storms come. But when you learn to hold on to me because you know who I am, faithful, merciful, and never abandoning you, then even the strongest winds will not uproot the foundation of your soul. As Romans 1:17 says, the righteous shall live by faith, not by temporary emotions, but by deep trust in me. I know there are times when you want to see immediate results so your heart can feel at peace. But many times, I do not show you the entire journey beforehand because I want you to learn how to walk with me day by day. A child does not need to understand every road their father takes. They only need to know that their father's hand is holding theirs. You are the same. When you do not understand, remember that I still love you. When you cannot yet see, remember that I am still working. When everything seems silent, remember that heaven has never stopped moving on your behalf. So today, continue walking in peace. Not a peace that comes from having every answer, but a peace that comes from knowing who is leading you. I am before you. I am working within you, and what I have begun will not stop halfway. One day, when you look back on every season of testing and waiting, you will understand that those difficult roads taught you the most precious truth of all, that I have always been faithful, even in the moments when you could not yet see my hand. My beloved child, I know there are seasons in your life when you walk through such long silence that your soul begins to wonder whether I am still listening at all. You pray, yet the heavens seem silent. You knock, Yet everything around you appears unmoved. There are moments when you look at the closed doors before you and think you must have taken the wrong path. Perhaps believing that I have forgotten you among the countless souls in this world. But my beloved child, do not fear my silence. It is often within the deepest silence that I do my greatest work within your soul. A seed does not sprout on the surface where everyone can see it. It moves quietly beneath the dark soil before life finally breaks forth. You are the same. What I am writing for your life in this season is deeper than what your eyes can presently understand. Do not try to understand everything before taking another step. If I showed you the entire journey from the beginning, perhaps you would lean on your own understanding instead of learning to hold tightly to my hand. So I am teaching you to walk without a map, relying only on my presence. As Psalm 32:8 says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye upon you. My beloved child, my eyes have never left you. Not even for the briefest moment, even when you feel lost. I know exactly where you are, and I know exactly where I am leading you. There are things I am teaching you that can only be engraved deeply through silence. I am teaching you to hear my voice in the midst of the countless noises of the world. The world tells you that you must run faster, become stronger, and control more in order not to be left behind. But I am drawing you away from that chaos to teach you a deeper truth. True strength does not come from forcing yourself to carry everything alone, but from learning how to rest in me. Remember Mary sitting at my feet while Martha busied herself with many concerns. The world may call that stillness a delay, but I call it the better portion. For the soul is not healed through hurry. The soul is healed in my presence. My beloved child, do not be afraid if your steps are still slow and trembling. I do not require you to walk perfectly. I only desire for you to keep walking with me. A child learning to walk falls many times, yet the Father does not stop reaching out his hand to lift that child up. I am the same. Even when your faith feels fragile, I still see the beauty of trust within it. As Romans 1:17 says, the righteous shall live by faith, not by understanding everything completely, but by continuing to walk toward me, even without seeing the whole road ahead. Trust is the bridge between being chosen by me and being sent by me. Many people love hearing about their calling, yet they fear the bridge of faith. They want to see everything clearly before they take a step. But, my beloved child, if you only move when everything is certain, you will never truly learn how to depend on me. When Peter stepped out of the boat into the raging sea, he had nothing except my words, "Come." And those words alone were enough to keep him standing upon the water. You are the same. There will be seasons when I give you no more than a single step of light ahead, but that one step is enough to lead you to the next if you continue trusting me. I know you have gone through many nights when you felt you no longer had the strength to stand. There are prayers you have repeated through tears again and again. There are days when you kept moving forward simply because you did not want to let go of my hand. My beloved child, none of it has been meaningless. Heaven has heard every sigh of your soul. The tears you have shed have not been forgotten. They have become an echo before my throne. As Psalm 126:5 says, those who sow in tears shall reap with songs of joy. Every time you choose to rise again, even while your heart is weary, you are planting seeds for the season of breakthrough I have prepared for you. And now I tell you that season is closer than you think, not as a sudden accident, but as the result of the entire journey through which I have quietly refined you through every trial, every season of waiting, and every moment in which you learned how to surrender and trust. The doors that once remained shut will begin to open. The things that once confused you will become clearer, not because you have finally become strong enough, but because you have learned how to let me become your strength. Remember Joseph. The prison was not the end of his story. It was the preparation for the throne. If he had given up during those forgotten years, he would never have seen the day I raised him up to save an entire nation. You are the same, my beloved child. Seasons of silence are not places where I have forgotten you. They are the places where I am building foundations deep enough for what I am about to do. For when I open a door at the right time, no one can shut it. And when I lead you into a new season, you will understand that every moment of waiting was worth it. So today, keep walking forward. It is all right if you walk slowly. It is all right if you walk trembling. Just do not turn away from me. Let your faith become greater than what your eyes can see. Let your heart rest in the truth that I am with you. And one day, you will look back on this season of silence and realize that the very place where it seemed nothing was happening was the place where heaven was quietly preparing the greatest breakthrough of your life. My beloved child, I remember every prayer you have lifted up in the darkest nights of your life. I remember the times you knelt down with a heart heavy with burdens, speaking to me through tears until there were no words left to say. There were moments when all you could do was remain silent because your soul was too weary to keep asking. But my beloved child, that silence was never empty before me. I heard even the sighs your lips could not express. As Romans 8:26 says, the Spirit Himself intercedes for us with groanings too deep for words. Not one of your cries has fallen without me remembering it. Not one night have you stayed awake in pain while I turned my face away. I also saw the mornings when you woke up with an exhausted soul, when your heart no longer felt strong or full of hope. Yet you still whispered, Lord, I still believe in you, my beloved child. Those small words move heaven more than you know. True faith is not only praise when everything is going well. True faith is when your heart still turns back to me in the midst of weariness and disappointment. People may not see the battle you are going through, but I see it, and I have never forgotten a single moment of that journey. Now, I am answering you, not with a great thunderclap or with things that immediately astonish the world, but with the gentle breath of restoration beginning to touch your soul, just as Elijah encountered me, not in the great wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in the gentle whisper. I am drawing near to you in the same way. There are miracles that do not begin with outward commotion. They begin with your heart slowly finding peace again, with the light of hope returning to the place where you once thought only darkness remained. My beloved child, true breakthrough is not only when circumstances change. Breakthrough is when the veil that once covered the eyes of your soul is lifted, and you realize that I have never left you, not even for a moment. There were seasons when you thought you had been left behind in loneliness, but in truth, I was drawing you into a deeper place of intimacy with me. It was in the days when no one understood you that you learned to hear my voice more clearly. It was through the times you were wounded that I taught you to love with a gentler heart instead of a more bitter one. And it is in the long seasons of waiting that I am causing your faith to take root deeper than your eyes can see. Do not think trials come to destroy you. If I had wanted to break you, I would not have kept you standing until this day. The trials you have passed through are like the fire that refines gold. Fire does not create gold, it only reveals the purity already within it. You are the same. My beloved child, there are things I placed within your soul long ago, but they needed to be refined through the painful journey so they could shine in the right way. As Job 23:10 says, when he has tried me, I shall come forth as gold. Do not fear the fire of refinement, for I stand with you in it. Look at the seed lying beneath the ground. For many days, no one sees anything happening. Everything appears silent and meaningless. But beneath that dark layer of soil, roots are quietly pushing deep. If the seed were to rise too soon before its roots were firm, the first wind would carry it away. That is why I allow it to remain in the darkness long enough for the life inside it to become stronger than anything outside could destroy. You are the same. The promises I have planted within you are not dead. They are taking root. What you call nothing is happening is often the very season in which heaven is preparing the foundation for the breakthrough ahead. Remember Job, my beloved child. There were times when he lost almost everything: his family, his possessions, his health, and his honor. Others looked at him and thought his life was over. Yet, in the ashes of pain, he still held on to me with the little faith he had left. He said, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him." And after the season of testing, I restored him not only with what he had lost, but with twice as much. Do you see? Breakthrough does not come by avoiding suffering. Many times, it is born right in the midst of it. For only the soul that has walked through the fire truly learns how to treasure the light. I know there are times when you wonder why you must endure so much. But my beloved child, I have not allowed these things to happen to make your life meaningless. I am creating within you a greater capacity for my glory. If I gave you everything while your soul was still fragile, you would not be able to carry what I desire to entrust to you. So I use both tears and waiting to enlarge your heart. Do not look at the present and conclude that I have not acted. The roots of a tree do not appear above the ground, yet they are still alive. Your breakthrough has already begun in places your eyes cannot yet see. Heaven is quietly moving around your life. There are doors I am preparing to open. There are chains I am weakening day by day. There are promises drawing nearer to the moment of fulfillment. So today, my beloved child, continue to trust, not because you can see everything clearly, but because you know who I am. I am the one who never breaks his promises. I am the one who never abandons the work my hands have begun. And the day will come when you look back on every painful season, every silent night, and every tear you once shed, and you will realize that they were leading you to the breakthrough I had prepared for you, a place where your soul is not only restored, but reflects my glory more powerfully than ever before. My beloved child, I know there are seasons in your life when you walk through such long silence that your soul begins to wonder whether I am still listening. You pray, yet the heavens seem silent. You knock, yet everything around you remains still. There are moments when you look at the closed doors before you and think you must have taken the wrong path, perhaps believing that I have forgotten you among the countless souls in this world. But my beloved child, do not fear my silence. It is often in the deepest silence that I do my greatest work within your soul. A seed does not sprout on the surface where everyone can see it. It moves quietly beneath the dark soil before life finally breaks forth. You are the same. What I am writing for your life in this season is deeper than what your eyes can presently understand. Do not try to understand everything before taking another step. If I showed you the entire journey from the beginning, perhaps you would rely upon your own understanding instead of learning how to hold tightly to my hand. So, I am teaching you to walk without a map, relying only upon my presence. As Psalm 32:8 says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. My beloved child, my eyes have never left you. Not even for the briefest moment. Even when you feel lost, I know exactly where you are. And I know exactly where I am leading you. There are things I am teaching you that can only be engraved deeply through silence. I am teaching you to hear my voice in the midst of the countless noises of the world. The world tells you that you must run faster, become stronger, and control more in order not to be left behind. But I am drawing you away from that chaos to teach you a deeper truth. True strength does not come from forcing yourself to carry everything alone, but from learning how to rest in me. Remember Mary sitting at my feet while Martha busied herself with many concerns. The world may call that stillness a delay, but I call it the better portion. For the soul is not healed through hurry, the soul is healed in my presence. My beloved child, do not be afraid if your steps are still slow and trembling. I do not require you to walk perfectly. I only desire for you to keep walking with me. A child learning to walk falls many times. Yet the Father does not stop reaching out his hand to lift that child up. I am the same. Even when your faith feels fragile, I still see the beauty of trust within it. As Romans 1:17 says, "The righteous shall live by faith, not by understanding everything completely, but by continuing to walk toward me, even without seeing the whole road ahead." Trust is the bridge between being chosen by me and being sent by me. Many people love hearing about their calling, yet they are afraid of the bridge of faith. They want to see everything beforehand before they are willing to move forward. But, my beloved child, if you only walk when everything is clear, you will never truly learn how to depend on me. When Peter stepped out of the boat into the raging sea, he had nothing except my words, "Come." And those words alone were enough to keep him standing upon the water. You are the same. There will be seasons when I give you no more than a single step of light ahead. Yet that one step is enough to lead you to the next if you continue to trust me. I know you have gone through many nights when you felt you no longer had the strength to stand. There are prayers you have repeated through tears again and again. There are days when you kept moving forward simply because you did not want to let go of my hand. My beloved child, none of it has been meaningless. Heaven has heard every sigh of your soul. The tears you have shed have not been forgotten. They have become an echo before my throne. As Psalm 126:5 says, "Those who sow in tears shall reap with songs of joy." Every time you choose to rise again, even while your heart is weary, you are planting seeds for the season of breakthrough I have prepared for you. And now I tell you that season is closer than you think, not as a sudden accident, but as the result of the entire journey through which I have quietly refined you through every trial, every season of waiting, and every moment in which you learned how to surrender and trust. The doors that once remained shut will begin to open. The things that once confused you will become clearer, not because you have finally become strong enough, but because you have learned how to let me become your strength. Remember Joseph. The prison was not the end of his story, it was the preparation for the throne. If he had given up during those forgotten years, he would never have seen the day I raised him up to save an entire nation. You are the same, my beloved child. Seasons of silence are not places where I have forgotten you. They are the places where I am building foundations deep enough for what I am about to do. For when I open a door at the right time, no one can shut it. And when I lead you into a new season, you will understand that every moment of waiting was worth it. So today, keep walking forward. It is all right if you walk slowly. It is all right if you walk trembling. Just do not turn away from me. Let your faith become greater than what your eyes can see. Let your heart rest in the truth that I am with you. And one day, you will look back on this season of silence and realize that the very place where it seemed nothing was happening was the place where heaven was quietly preparing the greatest breakthrough of your life. My beloved child, I do not want you to seek me only in great moments or emotional experiences and then think that outside of those moments, I am silent and distant. I am teaching you to recognize that my presence flows even through the most ordinary parts of life. I am in the gentle sunlight falling through the morning window. I am in the sudden peace that touches your heart in the middle of a busy day. I am in the quiet moment when you sit still and suddenly feel your soul become calmer, even though nothing around you has changed. There are times when you think you are simply living through very ordinary days. But, my beloved child, it is within that ordinary life that I am quietly touching your soul little by little. As Psalm 19:1 says, The heavens declare the glory of God. There is no place too small for my presence. When you wash your hands beneath running water and unexpectedly feel your heart become lighter. When you walk along a familiar road and your mind suddenly becomes more peaceful. When you open the scriptures and one verse touches you so deeply, it feels as though it were written only for you. That is not coincidence. That is me teaching your heart to turn away from the noise of the world so it can hear the gentle voice of the Holy Spirit. You often wait for great signs and wonders while forgetting that the first miracle I desire to do is awaken life within the things that seem so small. Remember the prophet Elijah on Mount Horeb. I did not come to him through the mighty wind, the earthquake, or the fire. I came through a still and gentle voice. My beloved child, many times I am speaking to you in the same way, very softly, yet clearly enough for the soul that seeks me to recognize. Do not despise the small changes taking place within your heart. Perhaps today you only notice that you feel a little more peaceful. Perhaps you simply respond more gently in a situation that once would have made you angry. Perhaps you only see a small spark of hope within days that once felt full of despair. But my beloved child, those small things are signs that life is growing within you. When a seed first takes root beneath the soil, nothing appears different on the surface. Yet within it, preparation for the season of fruitfulness has already begun. I am doing the same within your soul. As Luke 16:10 says, whoever is faithful in little will also be faithful in much. I do not only look at great victories, I rejoice even when you are learning to recognize grace within the ordinary days of life. Many people want to step immediately into great things, yet they do not know how to treasure small beginnings. They want to see the entire forest but are unwilling to care for the very first seed. But my beloved child, I often build lasting things from what seems quiet and unseen. Remember David. Before he stood before Goliath, he learned faithfulness in the lonely fields, caring for each small sheep in silence and solitude. No one saw those days except me. Yet it was in that hidden place that I was training courage and spiritual sensitivity within him. In the same way, the small moments of your life today are not meaningless. I am using them to create depth within your soul. Learn to be thankful even for the things that seem simple and ordinary. Gratitude is not only a response when you receive something great. Gratitude is when you recognize my breath within the smallest moments of each day. When you give thanks for a peaceful morning, for a timely word of encouragement, for a quiet moment when your heart becomes calm again, your soul will slowly open wider to my presence. As 1 Thessalonians 5:18 says, give thanks in all circumstances. Gratitude is what keeps your soul soft in a world that so easily hardens hearts. It helps you stop living only in expectation of great miracles, while forgetting that I am already very near within the rhythm of everyday life. Do not let slow progress discourage you. Some things require time to grow deep roots before they can blossom. A great tree does not rise in a single night, and your soul is not fully healed in an instant. There are seasons in which I am teaching you patience, not because I am delaying, but because I want what I build within you to become strong enough not to collapse when storms arrive. As Psalm 1:3 says, the righteous shall be like a tree planted by streams of water. The deeper the roots, the stronger the tree stands. And my beloved child, I am deepening the roots of your faith every day, even when your eyes cannot yet see the full result. Perhaps you do not realize it, but every time you choose peace instead of panic, every time you choose forgiveness instead of bitterness, every time you choose to return to me instead of drowning in the noise of the world, your roots are growing deeper into the source of eternal life. The small decisions you make today are preparing the season of fruitfulness tomorrow. Do not compare your journey to others. Some trees bloom quickly, yet wither just as fast. Other trees take many years to grow, but once they mature, they become shelter for many others. That is the kind of enduring work I am forming within you. So today, my beloved child, slow down enough to feel my presence in the small moments of life. Let your heart remain open to the simple things I am using to touch you each day. I am not as far away as you once believed. I am very near in every breath you breathe, in the small peace that quietly enters your heart, in every step you take with trust. And one day, you will look back and realize that those very small things were quietly transforming your soul little by little, until you became the person I had seen in my heart for you from before the beginning of time. My beloved child, do not continue holding on to the remnants of your pain as though they are the final identity of your life. I never created you to live silently among the ashes of broken days. A cracked vessel is not the final image I see when I look at you. What your eyes see are only fractures. But what I see is the possibility of restoration through grace. You often look at your soul through your failures, through seasons of tears, through words that wounded you. But I look at you through my everlasting love that has never changed. As Jeremiah 31:3 says, I have loved you with an everlasting love, therefore I have drawn you with loving kindness. So do not think you must gather every broken piece by yourself and try to put them back together with your own strength. If your hands are trembling, let my hands do the work. If your heart is weary from trying to stay strong for too long, then rest within my presence. For I am the one who restores what time and sorrow have worn away. There are souls who have lived with wounds for so long that they believe they are no longer worthy of healing. But my beloved child, truth is not found in your feelings. Truth is found in what I have spoken. I do not call you the leftover remains of a shattered life. I call you loved, chosen, and created for light. You are not a shadow wandering in darkness. You are a lamp I desire to light in a world that has grown cold from hopelessness. As Matthew 5:14 says, you are the light of the world. That light is not born from your perfection, but from allowing me to dwell in the deepest places of your soul. When my light touches you, the dark corners you once hid in shame will no longer remain places of disgrace. They will become places where my healing power is revealed. Remember the woman who suffered from bleeding for 12 years. Through all those long years, she lived as someone separated from the community, exhausted by pain and disappointment. She sought healing through many doors, yet her heart remained drained and weary. And still, in the middle of the pressing crowd, she dared to reach out and touch the edge of my garment with only a small spark of hope. The world may have seen only a weak woman struggling through the crowd, but I saw a soul that had not yet surrendered its faith. And when that trembling hand reached out, healing power flowed forth. My beloved child, sometimes what I am waiting for is not great strength from you, but simply one small step of faith. A prayer whispered in the middle of the night. One moment when you choose to rise again instead of giving up. One moment when you dare to believe that your life is not destined to end in ruins. It is within those seemingly small moments that I begin to write miracles. You often fear that your past is too heavy for you to step into a new future. But hear me clearly. There is no darkness deeper than my light. There is no abyss so distant that my mercy cannot reach it. When you return to me, you do not come back as a failure waiting to be judged. You return as a child being embraced by the arms of their father. Just as the father ran to embrace the prodigal son while he was still far away, I too keep my eyes upon you, waiting for your return each day. As Luke 15:24 says, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. Do not let shame keep you standing outside the door of grace any longer. I did not create you to live forever in condemnation. I created you to walk in freedom, There will be days when the sky within your heart feels covered with clouds, as though the light has gone far away. But my beloved child, the sun does not disappear simply because clouds cover it. My light is still there, gentle and steadfast, even when your eyes cannot yet see it. There are seasons in which I allow you to walk through valleys, not to destroy you, but to teach you that true strength is not found in circumstances, but in my presence. As Psalm 23:4 says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." When you truly understand this, fear will slowly lose its voice. The things that once filled you with despair will no longer rule over your soul. I want you to stop seeing yourself through the eyes of your wounds. Do not call yourself by the names of your old failures. Do not use what you have lost to define the value of your soul. You are not your past. You are not your wounds. You are the work I am shaping day by day through love and grace. A potter does not throw away the clay vessel simply because it becomes misshapen on the wheel. He patiently reshapes it with experienced hands. I am the same with you. Even the things that seem ruined, I can still use to create new beauty. As Revelation 21:5 says, "Behold, I make all things new." Let those words sink deeply into the places where you once believed it was too late to hope. So today, my beloved child, open your heart to my light. Let me enter the rooms you have locked away with fear and sorrow. Let me wipe away the dust of disappointment that has covered your soul for far too long. I did not come to remind you of your brokenness. I came to bring life. I did not come to condemn. I came to heal. And day by day, you will begin to realize that what I am doing is not merely repairing what was damaged. I am creating within you a new heart, softer, stronger, humbler, and filled with more light than ever before. And when you walk in that light, you will understand that you were never forgotten. You were simply being led through a journey to learn how to come home again, back to the love that has never stopped calling your name. My beloved child, if there are mornings when you awaken, feeling empty like a field after a season of drought, if the birds singing outside your window no longer touch your soul, if the morning sunlight fills your room while your heart still feels cold, as though trapped within an endless winter, then do not quickly assume that your soul is merely passing through temporary weakness. There are forms of exhaustion that do not come from the body, but from the deepest places within you, places that have gone too long without resting in my presence. People may see the smile upon your lips and believe you are still fine, but I see through every layer of calmness you wear. I hear the sighs you have never spoken aloud. I see the emptiness you try to fill with busyness, responsibilities, and endless days that never seem to stop. And I know your soul is thirsty, not thirsty for more success, more recognition, or more strength to continue carrying heavy burdens, but thirsty to return to true peace. As Psalm 42:2 says, "My soul thirsts for the living God." It is that thirst quietly calling you back to me. I know there are nights when you lie down, yet your mind still cannot rest. Old memories pass through your thoughts like silent shadows. Wounds you once believed were forgotten suddenly return through the smallest moments. A sentence, a melody, an unexpected silence. You have tried to stay strong for too long. My beloved child, you have learned how to smile while your heart was breaking, learned how to answer, "I'm fine," while inwardly feeling as though you might collapse. The world praises your strength, but I see the weariness hidden behind your eyes. And my beloved child, I do not blame you for enduring as long as you have. I only grieve when you believe you must carry everything alone. As 1 Peter 5:7 says, "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." I never intended for you to live as someone trying to save themselves with the little strength they have left. There are souls who believe that if they keep moving fast enough, pain will never catch up with them. But my beloved child, what is buried deep within does not disappear simply because it is ignored. A wound hidden away still bleeds quietly inside. I see you trying to fill the emptiness with work, with busyness, with constantly doing something so you will not have to face your own heart. But your soul does not need more noise. It needs healing. It needs to be held. It needs to hear my voice again in the middle of the chaos of this world. Sometimes you think what you need is physical rest, when in truth, it is your heart that has become exhausted, and only my love can touch that place. Remember the story of the prophet Elijah. After he performed great miracles before the people and triumphed over the prophets of Baal, others surely thought he must have been full of strength and glory. Yet afterward, Elijah fled into the wilderness in exhaustion and despair, to the point that he wished only to lie down and give up. He no longer had the strength to fight, and I did not come to him through a violent storm or terrifying thunder. I came through a still and gentle voice. I gave him rest. I gave him food. I restored his soul before calling him to rise and continue the journey. My beloved child, this is what I desire to do for you as well. I do not only want you to continue surviving, I want you to come alive again from within. There are moments when the holiest thing you can do is not to keep striving, but to stop in my presence and admit that you are tired. Do not be afraid to face the things that hurt you. I do not lead you into the deep and hidden places of your heart only to abandon you there. I walk into them with you. When you cry, I do not turn my face away. When you tremble, I do not see it as weakness. There are tears that become the beginning of healing. There are moments of brokenness that become the very moment chains begin to fall away. As Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." I am nearer to you than you realize, especially in the very days when you feel the most alone. My beloved child, I do not want you to live like a vessel that appears beautiful on the outside while remaining empty within. I do not want you to become so accustomed to enduring pain that you forget what true peace even feels like. I created you not merely to survive through the days, but to live with joy, with hope, and with light. And that light does not come from having perfect circumstances. It comes from knowing that you are loved, even in your weakest moments. When you truly understand this, you will stop forcing yourself to be strong all the time. You will stop believing that your worth is measured by how much pain you can endure without collapsing. Your worth is found in the simple truth that you are my child. So today, my beloved child, stop running from your own soul. Sit quietly for a moment in my presence. Let me touch the places you have never allowed anyone else to enter. Let me remove from your shoulders the burdens you have carried for so long that you have begun to believe they are part of who you are. I do not come to condemn your weariness. I come to renew you. As Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This is not a distant promise meant for another day. It is the invitation I am speaking to you right now. And when you truly allow me to embrace your soul, you will see that the dawn no longer feels cold. Light will return, not only outside your window, but within your very heart. My beloved child, do not believe that the things standing in your way have the final word over your life. There are walls before you that seem so large you think you will remain trapped behind them forever. But in my eyes, they are like mist disappearing when the sun rises. What exhausts your soul is not always some great trial. Often it is the small cords you have allowed to remain for too long. A little delay repeated again and again. A negative thought nurtured every day. A relationship that slowly weakens the light within you. A habit you know does not bring life. Yet you continue to hold on to it because it has become familiar. My beloved child, chains do not always make noise. Some bonds are so quiet and subtle that you do not even realize you are gradually losing your freedom. That is why I call you to awaken, not so you will live in fear, but so you may walk in the light of truth. As John 8:32 says, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." I know there are times when you have become so accustomed to stagnation that you believe it is simply part of your nature. You tell yourself that you will change another day, that you will begin again when you feel stronger, that you will let go when the right moment arrives. But my beloved child, there are doors that cannot open if you continue postponing the things I have already been urging you to do today. I did not create you to remain trapped in cycles of discouragement and half-hearted living. I created you to walk in freedom, with clear eyes and a heart full of life. As John 10:10 says, "I came that they may have life, and have it abundantly." Do not settle for living beneath what I have prepared for you simply because you have grown too familiar with old limitations. Listen deeply within your soul. Are there voices still causing you to doubt your worth? Are there old memories quietly shaping the way you see yourself? Are you still holding on to things I have repeatedly asked you to release? My beloved child, I do not force change upon you through condemnation. I bring light so I may rescue you from the things silently draining your peace. Just as a room closed for too long must be opened so light can enter, your soul also needs to be touched by me in every hidden corner you have avoided. As Psalm 139:23 says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts." This is not the prayer of fear, but the prayer of a heart longing for true freedom. Remember the story of Bartimaeus, the blind man sitting beside the road. He had grown so accustomed to darkness that his life had become nothing more than days spent begging at the edge of the world around him. But when he heard that I was passing by, he refused to remain silent. Even when the crowd tried to make him stop, he cried out even louder. And when I called him to come, the very first thing he did was throw aside his old cloak, the cloak tied to his identity as a beggar. My beloved child, there are things you also must bravely lay down before you can step into the new season I have prepared for you. You cannot hold tightly to old chains while walking into new freedom. There are thoughts, relationships, and habits that must be laid at my feet so you may truly rise and begin to see the light. I do not speak these things to make you ashamed of your weakness. I know you are only a fragile human soul living in a world full of voices trying to pull hearts away from the path of life. But because I love you, I cannot remain silent when I see something slowly drawing you away from true life. Just as a father who sees his child walking near the edge of a cliff will call out loudly to stop them. My voice to you today is the same. It is not the voice of anger, but the voice of love trying to protect you from dangers you cannot yet fully see. As Hebrews 12:6 says, "The Lord disciplines the one he loves." There are warnings that may discomfort you for a moment, yet save your soul from years of wandering. Do not fall asleep in the kind of normal that the world calls stability. There are people who live their entire lives without ever truly being free because they have become accustomed to invisible chains. They grow used to postponing my calling, used to living beneath what I created them for, used to dimming the light within themselves so they can blend into the darkness around them. But my beloved child, you were not born merely to exist. You were called to shine. You were called to live with an open soul, unchained from fear, shame, or the habits that keep pulling you downward. As Galatians 5:1 says, "Stand firm, then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." I see before you a path far greater than you imagine. There are doors I am preparing to open, blessings you have never dared to dream of. and new seasons overflowing with life waiting for you to enter. But you must become lighter in order to move forward. No one can run far while their feet remain bound by chains. So today, let me cut away the things that are slowing your soul down. Let me remove from you stagnation, fear, and the habits that slowly cause your inner light to fade. I did not call you into a small and confined life. I called you into abundant life, where your heart is free to love, to hope, and to live fully in my light. My beloved child, do not let your heart tremble when darkness seems to grow thicker around you. There are moments when you feel as though you are being overwhelmed by pressure, by constant struggles, by nameless exhaustion. But I want you to understand that not every battle is a sign of defeat. Many times, the fiercest battles come just before dawn breaks. The enemy often makes the greatest noise when it senses that your chains are about to be shattered. So do not look at your present difficulties as proof that I have abandoned you. See them instead as echoes announcing that change is closer than you think. As 1 Peter 5:10 says, after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace will himself restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast. You have not been forgotten in this battle. I am standing beside you in every step. I know there are times when you feel exhausted by things that seem very small. Your soul is not always tested by great storms. Sometimes it is only a sentence that suddenly weighs heavily upon your heart, a glance that makes you feel misunderstood, a disappointment repeated so many times that hope within you slowly weakens. You tell yourself these things are too small to matter, so you allow them to accumulate in silence. But my beloved child, small cracks in a wall, if left unrepaired, can eventually cause the whole house to shake. A tiny seed of bitterness, if left hidden within the heart, can grow into a tree that blocks out the light. That is why I call you to remain watchful. Not so you may live in anxiety, but so you may recognize what is quietly pulling your heart away from true peace. As Proverbs 4:23 says, guard your heart above all else, for everything you do flows from it. There are souls that slowly grow cold not because of one great tragedy, but because of too many small wounds that were never healed. They learn to live with the coldness inside their hearts as though it were normal. They stop hoping, stop praying with all their heart, stop believing that things can truly change. But, my beloved child, I do not want your heart to become like dry ground, unable to feel the rain of grace anymore. I want you to let me touch every deep corner of your soul, even the places you think can no longer be restored. Do not hide your weariness from me. Do not lock away your wounds and call that strength. As Matthew 5:4 says, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. It is precisely where you dare to bring your weakness before me that the power of healing begins to flow. Remember the story of Gideon. When I called him to rise and deliver Israel, he was not a confident warrior. He was hiding in fear, threshing wheat in secret because he was afraid the enemy would steal the harvest. Yet I called him a mighty warrior, my beloved child. I also see within you what you cannot yet see in yourself. You may feel small, weary, and unable to keep moving forward. But I do not define you by your present fears. I define you by what I am creating within you. Gideon first had to tear down the altar of idols within his father's house before he could step into victory. And you are the same. There are things within your heart that must be removed before true freedom can fully enter. The negative thoughts you have nurtured for too long, the quiet bitterness you keep hidden, the small compromises you believe do not matter. I do not only want to change the circumstances around you, I want to set your heart free. Do not underestimate the whispers of doubt. The enemy does not always come with loud shouting. Many times, It only plants a small thought within your mind. Perhaps God has forgotten you. Perhaps all your prayers are useless. Perhaps you will always remain this way. But, my beloved child, those are not my words. I do not sow despair into your soul. I am the one who lights hope in the middle of the darkest night. As Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope and a future." When negative voices begin to rise against you, return to my word instead of sinking into fear. Even the smallest light of truth is enough to tear through the thickest darkness. My beloved child, I am working even when your eyes cannot yet see it. There are chains already being loosened in the unseen realm. There are doors I am opening that you cannot yet recognize. There are things I am quietly arranging to protect you from what could wound your soul later on. Do not lose your faithfulness simply because you do not see immediate results. A seed does not rise from the ground the same day it is planted. Yet life has already begun beneath the soil, long before the first sprout appears. As Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap, if we do not give up." So today, my beloved child, stand firm. Do not let the rush of this world pull you away from my presence. Let your soul become still enough to hear my voice in the midst of the countless sounds surrounding you. I am calling you to awaken, not so you may live in fear, but so you may walk in the power of light. Do not surrender to the small things, trying to slowly wear down your hope. Let me tear down every invisible stronghold within your mind and heart. I did not call you to live under oppression or endless exhaustion. I called you to step into freedom, into peace, and into the new season I have prepared for you through my everlasting love. My beloved child, today I call your name, not with the voice of anger, but with the earnest voice of a father watching his child slowly grow weary beneath invisible chains they do not yet fully recognize. I cannot remain silent while your soul is being drawn away from the freedom I intended for you from the very beginning. There are chains that do not bind hands or feet, but bind the mind chains of fear, of constant distraction, of endless noise that slowly causes your heart to lose the sacred fire it once carried. And my beloved child, I did not create you to live confined by such things. Before the first foundations of the earth were laid, I saw you. I placed within you a calling, a light, and a purpose not meant to be buried beneath exhaustion and stagnation. As Jeremiah 1:5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." So do not believe your life is only a meaningless cycle of repeated days. Something far greater is waiting for you to step into. But my beloved child, precisely because what I have prepared for you is precious, there will always be things trying to pull you away from it. The enemy of your soul does not always appear through obvious darkness or great temptations. Many times, it comes through distraction. It fills your mind with so much noise that you can no longer clearly hear my voice. It keeps you so busy that you no longer make space to quiet your heart. It does not need to destroy you all at once. It only needs to make you forget who you are in me. It only needs to make you settle for less than what I created you for. It only needs to make you delay change for one more day. And little by little, your soul begins to lose the spiritual sensitivity I placed within it. That is why I am calling you to awaken. Not so you will live in fear, but so you will stop sleeping through the signs I am placing before you. There have been warnings I have already shown you through the unrest within your spirit, through those moments when you felt your peace fading as you stepped into a certain relationship, decision, or path, yet many times you dismissed them, thinking they were only passing emotions. My beloved child, learn to listen more deeply. I still speak to you through peace, and also through gentle warnings within your soul. As Matthew 11:15 says, "Whoever has ears to hear, let them hear." Not every open door leads to life. Not everything attractive comes from me. There are roads that appear wide and inviting, yet in the end they lead only to exhaustion. Remember the story of Samson. I placed extraordinary strength and a great calling upon his life. Yet the enemy did not defeat him in the middle of battle. It happened little by little, through distraction. Through small compromises he believed he could still control. Samson fell asleep in the very place that eventually cut away his strength. My beloved child, I do not tell you this to frighten you, but so you may understand that the small things you ignore today can become doors for darkness tomorrow. A soul does not lose its light in a single night. It slowly drifts away from the source of light little by little without even realizing it. But do not be afraid, for my words today are not a sentence of condemnation. They are my hand reaching out to pull you back before you wander too far. I do not speak to shame you. I speak because I know you were born for far greater things than the weariness currently holding you captive. I see before you doors that you cannot yet see. I see souls that will be lifted through your words, your love, and your life. I see my light flowing through you into places filled with despair. And because of this, darkness always seeks to make you forget your true worth. It wants you to believe you are merely an ordinary person with a small life that changes nothing. But my beloved child, as 1 Peter 2:9 says, you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation. You were not called to fade away in this world. You were called to carry my light into the coldest places. I know there are times when you feel as though you are standing in a long night without seeing any sign of dawn. Yet it is precisely in those moments that I am working most deeply. There are chains already beginning to crack that your eyes cannot yet see. There are strongholds within your mind that my power is tearing down layer by layer. Do not give up simply because you do not see immediate results. A person digging for water does not stop just before reaching the spring. And you must not stop just before the season of breakthrough I am preparing for your life. As Joshua 1:9 says, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. So today, my beloved child, pull your mind away from everything that is scattering your attention. Return to the secret place with me. Let the first fire within your soul begin to burn brightly again. I do not want you merely to survive through the days. I want you to live with your eyes open to the vision I have prepared for you. I want you to walk lightly, no longer bound by fear, delay, or the invisible chains of the past. And when you take hold of what I am placing into your hands in this season, you will see that darkness no longer has authority over you. Light will flood the places once covered in despair, and your very life will become living proof that my power is still restoring, rescuing, and transforming all things. My beloved child, before I lead you into a new season, I want you to learn how to stop in the middle of life's rushing current and listen to what is happening within your own soul. There are people who keep running without ever realizing that their hearts are exhausted. There are people who try to fill the emptiness with work, laughter, conversation, or endless busyness. Yet when night falls, they still feel that something inside them remains unhealed. My beloved child, I did not call you to live that way. I do not want you merely existing day after day while carrying a soul weighed down by burdens that have never truly been laid down. So today, let silence draw you closer to me. Stop running from the things I am gently touching within your heart. Is there still a pain you have carried for too long? Is there still a memory that causes your heart to tighten whenever it returns to your mind? Perhaps there is a relationship I have repeatedly asked you to release, yet you continue holding on to it because you fear loneliness. Perhaps there is forgiveness you know you need to give. but your heart still clings to justice in its own way. My beloved child, I do not reveal these things to condemn you. I do not point to your wounds in order to shame you. A physician must remove the old bandage before healing the wound beneath it. And I am doing the same with your soul. As John 8:32 says, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Everything I bring into the light is not proof that I have abandoned you, but evidence that I am still patiently healing you. Remember Joseph during the years of betrayal and being forgotten. He had every reason to keep bitterness in his heart toward his brothers, toward those who had sold him like an object. But when my appointed time came, what I did within Joseph's heart was even greater than what I did around his life. I did not only bring him out of prison, I freed his heart from resentment. And when his brothers bowed before him in fear, Joseph wept and said that I had turned what was meant for evil into good. My beloved child, there are blessings that cannot truly enter your life if your heart remains locked by old pain. I do not want you to carry the chains of the past into a new future. So let me help you release what has been weighing down your soul. Do not let the noise of the world pull you away from the spiritual focus. I am awakening within you. So many things try to claim your mind each day. Worry about tomorrow. Comparison with others. News that unsettles your heart. Voices telling you that nothing will ever change. But my beloved child, if you allow your heart to be covered by noise, you will no longer hear my voice clearly. As Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." There are things I only speak to a soul that knows how to stop. There is guidance that does not come through loud thunder, but through a very deep peace within the heart. I know you have waited so long that sometimes hope within you becomes fragile. There are prayers you have repeated through many seasons, yet the heavens still seem silent. There are nights when you wonder whether I am truly working. But my beloved child, my silence is not my absence. When a seed lies beneath the soil, your eyes cannot see what is happening, yet life is still quietly growing. In the same way, I am preparing things beyond what you can see right now. As Romans 8:28 says, "All things work together for good for those who love God." Even the battles in which you once wept in despair, I can use to form strength and maturity within you. There are walls before you that seem impossible to bring down. But remember the people of Israel when they stood before Jericho. That wall was so high and strong that no human strength could tear it down. Yet I did not tell them to rely on power or strategy. I told them to walk in obedience and faith, and at the exact time I had appointed. The walls fell at the sound of the trumpets and the shout. My beloved child, what is standing in your way today is not greater than my power. There are strongholds in your mind, chains of fear, shame, and disappointment that will have to break as you continue walking with me in trust. So today, rise from the weariness that has held you back for too long. Do not bow your head before the voices that tell you everything will always remain the same. I am the God of transformation, restoration, and new beginnings. When you allow me to guide each step, you will see that what once frightened you no longer has authority over your heart. Doors that once remained closed will open. The dry places within your soul will be watered with peace. And one day, you will look back on the road you have traveled and understand that not one tear fell in vain. Not one season of waiting was meaningless. All of it has been preparing you for the moment when my glory will be revealed in your life, not so you may exalt yourself, but so the world may see that my love and power can still restore a soul that once seemed completely exhausted. My beloved child, do not think faith is only the words you speak in prayer or the emotions that rise within you during a moving moment. True faith always leads you into movement. A seed cannot become a tree if it remains forever in the hand of the sower. In the same way, the things I have placed within your heart cannot bear fruit if you remain forever in the place of safety because of fear. There are doors I prepared long ago, but you must step forward to open them. There are miracles that begin with one very small step of obedience. As James 2:17 says, "Faith without works is dead. I have not called you only to hear my voice. I have called you to follow me." I know there are things I am stirring within your heart right now. Perhaps I have repeatedly urged you to walk away from a relationship that has been quietly draining your peace. Perhaps I am awakening within you the courage to begin something new that you have delayed because of fear of failure. Perhaps I am leading you to seek wisdom and guidance from someone mature while your pride has kept you from doing so. My beloved child, do not continue delaying what I have already made clear to you. Prolonged delay often does not come from lack of understanding, but from fear of stepping beyond what feels familiar. But my beloved child, a ship was not created to remain forever in the harbor, and you were not created to spend your entire life trapped within a small place of comfort and safety. Remember Abraham, when I called him to leave his homeland and go to a place he had never seen. I did not hand him a complete map. I simply said, "Go," and Abraham walked forward without seeing the entire road ahead. It was that obedience that opened the covenant and blessings for generations to come. My beloved child, there are greater things I reveal only along the journey, not before you begin walking. If Abraham had waited until everything felt clear and completely safe, he would have missed the destiny I prepared for him. And you are the same. Do not wait until all fear disappears before you move forward. Walk with me, even while your heart is still trembling. I know obedience can sometimes make you feel lonely. There will be people who do not understand why you are changing. There will be people who try to pull you back toward the old version of yourself because that is the person they were more comfortable with. The world often feels uneasy when someone begins stepping beyond the limits others have accepted. But, my beloved child, do not allow the voices of others to become louder than my voice within your heart. As Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." I did not call you to blend into the darkness around you. I called you to become light, and light will always stand apart in the middle of darkness. The enemy will also try to make you doubt yourself. It will remind you of your past failures. It will whisper that you are not skilled enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough to step into what I have promised. But, my beloved child, remember that Moses believed he was not eloquent enough to stand before Pharaoh. Gideon believed he was too small to save a nation. Jeremiah thought he was only a child. Yet I did not call them because they were perfect. I called them because I would go with them. I will be with you. That has always been the key to true obedience. When you walk with me, your strength no longer rests in your own abilities, but in my presence upon your life. Do not let the past hold you back. There are memories that will try to pull you back into old darkness, reminding you of your failures so you will believe you can never truly change. But, my beloved child, the past has no authority to determine your future when your hand is placed within mine. Remember Peter. He denied me 3 times during that fearful night. The world may have believed he was no longer worthy to be used, but I did not end his story in failure. I restored him. And then I used that same man who once trembled in fear to boldly preach before crowds. My beloved child, I can also turn the places that once filled you with shame into testimonies of my grace. Timely obedience is the doorway that opens into things you cannot yet see today. There are seasons I am preparing for you, but you must have the courage to step through the doorway before you. Do not think you must understand everything before moving forward. Many times, understanding comes after obedience. A person only sees new landscapes when they dare to leave where they currently stand. And in the same way, Your soul will never discover deeper dimensions of my power if it remains trapped in the safety of delay. So today, my beloved child, rise with living faith. Stop negotiating with fear. Stop waiting for a perfect moment that may never arrive. If I am urging you to move forward, then move forward. If I am telling you to let go, then let go. If I am opening a new door before you, then step through it with courage. I will never lead you to a place where my grace is not sufficient to sustain you. And when you obey with your whole heart, you will begin to see what once seemed impossible start to move. Doors will open, chains will fall away, and you will realize that the greatest truth is not how strong you are, but that the one holding your hand has never failed. My beloved child, the time has come for you to stop standing at the edge of your own life, like someone who only listens but never truly steps into what I am opening before you. There are seasons in your life created for rest and healing, but there are also seasons when I call you to rise, carry my light, and walk forward with new courage. And my beloved child, this is such a season. I am no longer only stirring your soul with gentle words of comfort. I am awakening within you the fire of new life. If your heart trembles as you hear my voice, it is not merely a passing emotion. It is my spirit touching the deepest place within you, awakening the part of you that has slept too long beneath weariness and doubt. As Ephesians 5:14 says, "Awake, O sleeper, and Christ will shine on you." I did not create you to live passively in this darkened world. I did not place the breath of life within you so you would merely survive day after day with a heart shrinking back in fear. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I already saw these days of your life. I knew there would be battles that would weary you, seasons of loneliness that would make you feel as though you no longer had strength to continue. But I also know what I have placed within you. There is a courage inside you that even you do not yet fully understand. There is a light that the darkness around you cannot extinguish. And there is an eternal purpose growing through every tear. Every moment you rose again after falling. As 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and self-control." Do not let your weak days convince you that you are incapable of what I have called you to do. The world often looks at failure to define a person, but I look at the seed of glory I planted within their soul. Remember David, when he was still a shepherd boy, overlooked among his brothers. No one believed that boy would become a king. No one imagined that the hands once caring for sheep would defeat the giant Goliath. But I did not choose David because of his appearance or status. I chose him because his heart turned toward me, and where others saw smallness, I saw a warrior. My beloved child, I am also seeing within you what you cannot yet fully see in yourself. Do not despise your hidden seasons of preparation. An arrow must first be pulled backward before it can fly far. Perhaps there were moments when you felt left behind as you watched others move ahead more quickly. Perhaps you wondered why your journey has been so long and filled with so many tears. But, my beloved child, I have never forgotten you. I do not write the story of your life in haste. There are souls I must refine in the fire of testing, so they can carry greater light without being consumed by it. As Job 23:10 says, "After he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold." Your seasons of struggle are not meaningless. They are creating depth within your soul, teaching you how to stand firm, not through temporary emotions, but through mature faith. Mighty soul, do not surrender to the weariness, trying to cast shadows over your vision. The enemy wants you to believe that this journey is too long, that you should settle for a small life, slowly fading away in silence. But I say that you are called for greater things. Not great in the way the world measures greatness through fame or power, but great in light, in spiritual influence, in your ability to carry my hope into the lives of wandering souls. There are people who will rediscover faith simply because they see me alive through the way you love, through the way you rise again, and through the way you continue walking in the midst of trials. I am still writing the story of your life, and the chapter ahead is not a chapter of failure, but of restoration and the revealing of my glory. Do not close the book simply because you are standing in difficult pages right now. Remember Joseph in prison. To human eyes, his story appeared to end in injustice and abandonment. Yet in that very darkness, I was preparing a throne for him. My beloved child, there are things I am doing in hidden places that your eyes cannot yet fully see. Do not allow your present circumstances to make you doubt the future I have prepared for you. So today, rise with renewed faith. Stop seeing yourself through the lens of your past. Stop calling yourself by the names fear once placed upon you. You are not forgotten. You were not born to remain forever beneath the shadow of others. I am calling you to become a pillar in this age of instability, a light in places where many have lost hope. As Matthew 5:14 says, "You are the light of the world. That light does not come from your perfection, but from my life shining within you." So, my beloved child, take hold of my hand and keep walking forward. Do not fear the greater things I am opening before you. Do not step back simply because the journey ahead stretches beyond what has ever felt familiar to you. I go before you through every new door. I stand beside you in every battle, and I remain behind you to keep you from falling. When you walk with me, no power can truly stop what I have ordained. Walls will have to fall. Chains will have to break from your soul, and your very life will become living testimony that my grace can still transform a heart once weary and full of doubt into a burning torch in the darkness of this world. My beloved child, I do not want you to seek me only in great moments or emotional experiences, and then believe that outside those moments, I am silent and distant. I am teaching you to recognize that my presence weaves itself into even the most ordinary parts of life. I am in the gentle sunlight falling through your window in the morning. I am in the sudden peace that touches your heart in the middle of a busy day. I am in the quiet moment when you sit still and suddenly feel your soul soften, even though nothing outward has changed. There are times when you think you are simply living through ordinary days. But my beloved child, it is precisely within that ordinary life that I am quietly touching your soul little by little. As Psalm 19:1 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God. No place is too small for my presence to dwell." When you wash your hands beneath running water and unexpectedly feel lighter inside, when you walk along a familiar road and your thoughts suddenly become calmer, when you open the scriptures and one verse touches you so deeply, it feels as though it was written only for you, these are not coincidences. It is I teaching your heart to tune itself away from the noise of the world so you may hear the gentle voice of my Spirit. You often wait for dramatic signs and wonders, while forgetting that the first miracle I desire to do is awaken life within the things that seem very small. Remember the prophet Elijah on Mount Horeb. I did not come to him through violent wind, earthquake, or fire. I came through a still and gentle whisper. My beloved child, many times I am speaking to you in the same way, softly, yet clearly enough for a soul that is seeking me to recognize my voice. Do not despise the small changes happening within your heart. Perhaps today you only notice that you feel a little more peaceful than before. Perhaps you simply react more gently in a situation that once would have filled you with anger. Perhaps you only sense a small spark of hope returning in days that once felt consumed by despair. But my beloved child, those very small things are signs that life is growing within you. When a seed first begins taking root beneath the ground, nothing outward appears different. Yet inside, it is quietly preparing for a future season of fruitfulness. And I am doing the same within your soul. As Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever is faithful in little will also be faithful in much. I do not only look at great victories. I rejoice when you learn to recognize grace within ordinary days. There are many who want to step immediately into great things, yet do not know how to value small beginnings. They want to see the entire forest, but refuse to care for the very first seed. But my beloved child, I often build lasting things through quiet and hidden places. Remember David. Before he stood before Goliath, he learned faithfulness in lonely fields, caring for sheep in silence where no one else could see him. No one witnessed those days except me. Yet it was in that hidden place that I trained courage and spiritual sensitivity within him. And in the same way, the small moments in your life today are not meaningless. I am using them to create depth within your soul. Learn to give thanks even for the things that seem simplest of all. Gratitude is not only a response to receiving something great. Gratitude is recognizing my breath within the smallest moments of each day. When you are thankful for a peaceful morning, for an encouraging word spoken at the right time, for a moment when your heart suddenly feels lighter, your soul will gradually open itself more deeply to my presence. As 1 Thessalonians 5:18 says, give thanks in all circumstances. Gratitude will keep your soul soft in a world that so easily hardens the heart. It will help you stop living only while waiting for great miracles and begin realizing that I am already very near within the rhythm of your everyday life. Do not let the slow pace of the process discourage you. Some things need time to grow deep roots before they can bloom. A great tree does not rise overnight, and your soul will not be completely healed in a single moment either. There are seasons in which I am teaching you patience, not because I am delaying, but because I want what I am building within you to be strong enough to withstand the storms when they come. As Psalm 1:3 says, the righteous shall be like a tree planted by streams of water. The deeper the roots, the stronger the tree stands. And my beloved child, I am deepening the roots of your faith every day, even when your eyes cannot yet see the full results. Perhaps you do not realize it, but every time you choose peace instead of panic, every time you choose forgiveness instead of bitterness, every time you choose to return to me instead of drowning in the noise of the world, your roots are growing deeper into eternal life. The small decisions you make today are preparing you for tomorrow's season of fruitfulness. Do not compare your process to anyone else's. Some trees bloom quickly but fade just as fast. Others take many years to grow. Yet once mature, they become shelter for many people. I am creating something enduring like that within you. So today, my beloved child, slow down enough to feel my presence in the small moments of life. Let your heart open itself to the simple things I am using each day to touch your soul. I am not as far away as you once believed. I am very near in the breath you inhale, in the quiet peace slipping gently into your heart, in every step you take with trust. And one day you will look back and realize that it was those small moments that quietly transformed your soul little by little, until you became the person I had seen from before the beginning of time. My beloved child, do not let your heart continue craving recognition from the world as though your value were determined by the eyes of others. The world usually sees only outward results, but I see the depths of your soul. There are seasons I allow you to walk through quietly, not because I have forgotten you, but because I am building foundations where no one else can see. A house meant to stand firm through storms must first have foundations buried deep beneath the ground. And my beloved child, I am doing the same with your life. What I am building today is not only for the present moment, but for greater seasons still to come. As Matthew 6:6 says, your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. So do not lose heart when others do not fully understand the journey you are walking. Some spiritual works must grow in silence before they are revealed in the light. I know there are times when you long to see everything clearly, You want to know where the road ahead is leading. You want assurance that these waiting seasons are not meaningless. But my beloved child, I am teaching you something deeper than understanding itself, the art of trusting me, even in silence. A child does not need to understand the entire road before daring to hold their father's hand and continue walking. They walk because they know they are safe. And I want you to learn how to rest in my arms in the same way. As John 20:29 says, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." There are things I do not explain immediately, because if you saw everything from the beginning, you would walk by reasoning instead of faith. I am not present only in the moments you call spiritual. I enter even the smallest details of everyday life. It is often within those simple moments that I perform my deepest miracles. Sometimes you stand before the mirror in the morning and suddenly realize your heart feels more peaceful than it did yesterday. Sometimes you are folding clothes, washing dishes, or walking along a familiar road, and your soul suddenly feels lighter for reasons you cannot explain. Sometimes you simply choose silence instead of anger, gentleness instead of reacting from hurt. My beloved child, that itself is a miracle. Not the kind of miracle that arrives with thunder from the heavens, but the miracle of a soul being transformed day by day. As Revelation 21:5 says, "Behold, I make all things new." I am not only renewing your circumstances, I am renewing your heart. Remember Naaman, the powerful commander who suffered from leprosy. He came to the prophet Elisha, expecting a great and dramatic miracle. Yet what I told him to do was very simple. Go down to the Jordan River and wash 7 times. At first he was disappointed because he believed power should come with grandeur and spectacle. But it was through that simple act of obedience that healing came. My beloved child, many times you also expect me to work through grand and overwhelming things while I am quietly healing you through ordinary moments of daily life. Do not despise the simplicity of the way I work. The small things of today may already carry within them the seeds of tomorrow's great transformation. I am planting within you things that will one day become shade and shelter for others. There are tears you have shed today that will later help you understand and comfort those who are hurting tomorrow. There are seasons of loneliness I have allowed you to walk through, so you may learn how to recognize the person who feels alone even in the middle of a crowd. And there are times when I heal you quietly in secret, so that one day that same gentleness will become a refuge for many weary souls. As 2 Corinthians 1:4 says, "He comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble." What I am doing within you is never meant for you alone. The light I ignite in your life will also guide many others. Do not think miracles happen only on the mountaintops of life. True miracles often begin in silence. They begin when you decide to forgive, even while your heart still aches. When you choose prayer instead of despair. When you choose gentleness toward yourself instead of self-condemnation. When you realize you no longer react the way your old self once did. These things may appear small in the eyes of the world, but to me they are signs of a soul growing in the light. A tree does not become strong overnight. It grows quietly day by day, each root reaching deeper into the earth, and you are growing in the same way. I know there are moments when you become impatient because you have not yet seen something great happen, but my beloved child, do not let silence convince you that I am not working. The deepest miracles often happen in places unseen by human eyes. While you sleep, I am still working within your soul. As you walk through days that seem ordinary, I am weaving together things far beyond what you can understand. As Exodus 14:14 says, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." There are battles you were never meant to carry alone. I am going before you, preparing the way for you, and quietly changing things you cannot yet see. So today, my beloved child, stop searching for validation from the world while forgetting that I called your name long before time began. Learn to recognize me in the small details of everyday life. Let gratitude open the eyes of your soul to the quiet miracles unfolding around you each day. And little by little, you will begin to realize that you are no longer walking alone. I am there in every peaceful breath, in every wise decision, in every gentle transformation happening within your heart. Those simple moments will slowly turn your life into a living testimony of my love and power. My beloved child, do not think the quiet moments of your life are meaningless simply because no one else sees them. The world often calls something great only when it is loud, visible, and admired by many. But I delight in planting miracles within the most hidden places of your heart. When you sit alone, holding a cup of water, and suddenly feel your soul becoming lighter after stressful days, that is not merely coincidence. It is I touching your spirit with a peace the world cannot give. When you choose forgiveness in silence, even though no one knows the battle happening within you, heaven still sees it. When you place your hand upon the shoulder of someone who is hurting and remain beside them with sincere gentleness, I am present within that very moment. As Matthew 25:36 says, I was sick and you visited me. There are times when you think you are doing something very small, but in my eyes, that is where light shines most powerfully. I want you to understand that most of what I build does not begin upon grand stages, but within the small corners of everyday life. A whispered prayer in the middle of the night, a tear you try to hide when no one else is watching, a simple message you send to encourage a weary soul. My beloved child, I overlook none of these things. As Hebrews 6:10 says, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown. Every act of love you sow is like a seed falling into the soil. You may not yet see the results, but I am using every small act to weave together a story greater than you can presently understand. There have been great turning points in your life that began through moments that seemed very ordinary. A word of encouragement spoken at the right time can rescue a soul from despair. One act of patience can keep a relationship from falling apart. One decision to remain silent instead of responding in anger can redirect an entire future. But because the world is accustomed to measuring value through what is visible and dramatic, many people fail to recognize the power hidden within quiet things. They think miracles must arrive with thunder and blazing light. But my beloved child, I delight in working like yeast, hidden within dough, silent, yet transforming everything from within. As Matthew 13:33 says, the kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman mixed into flour. What I am doing within you may not appear loud or dramatic, but it is spreading little by little. Remember the boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. In the eyes of the crowd, such a small meal seemed insignificant among thousands of people. Yet, when the boy placed what he had into my hands, the miracle happened. My beloved child, what I need is not greatness, according to the world's standards. I only seek a heart willing to offer its small things with love and faith. A kind word, a moment of patience, a quiet act done without needing recognition. In my hands, those small things can feed countless souls. Do not wait until you accomplish something great before believing your life has value. Your worth is not measured by how visible your actions are, but by the love you place within them. There are people known by the whole world whose souls remain cold and empty, and there are quiet souls who simply live in love every day while heaven rejoices over them. When you choose not to join gossip while everyone around you is speaking against others, you are opening the door for peace to enter. When you choose to listen instead of only wanting to be understood, you are reflecting my heart. When you send someone a message of encouragement even while you yourself feel weary, you are sowing light into darkness. As Galatians 6:9 says, let us not grow weary in doing good, Nothing done in love is ever wasted in my sight. I know there are times when you feel that what you do is too small to make any difference. But my beloved child, even a small candle can fill a dark room with light. A tiny stream can nourish dry fields. And a heart that knows how to love can change the atmosphere around it in ways human eyes cannot fully see. There are places you enter where others suddenly breathe easier simply because of the peace I have placed within you. There are souls comforted not because you said something extraordinary, but because you were simply present with genuine gentleness. I am teaching you that true power does not always dwell within greatness, but within daily faithfulness. Remember Mary sitting quietly at my feet while others were distracted by many things. It was there, in stillness, that she received the better portion, and I want you to learn how to recognize me in the most ordinary moments of life as well. Do not chase after the extraordinary so intensely that you miss the miracle quietly unfolding around you each day. So today, my beloved child, continue living with love even when the world does not always notice. Continue sowing kindness even when it is not always returned. Continue choosing peace instead of striving to win every argument. I am using those quiet acts to transform your life and touch many others. One day, when you look back, you will realize that your life was redirected not only by dramatic moments, but by thousands of small decisions in which you chose to live like me within everyday life. My beloved child, I have never asked you to become someone who never grows tired, as though your worth were measured by how much pain you can endure without collapsing. The world praises busyness so much that many souls have forgotten how to rest. People learn to force themselves forward even when their hearts are exhausted. They learn to ignore the cries of their own bodies simply to avoid appearing weak. But, my beloved child, I did not create you to live in endless exhaustion. A body living in peace is not a body that has never felt pain or weariness. It is a body that knows how to stop when rest is needed, knows how to breathe deeply instead of living in constant hurry, and knows how to listen to the signals I send through every heartbeat and every breath. As 1 Corinthians 6:19 says, "Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit? I do not see your body as a tool to be used until it is emptied and broken. I see it as a dwelling place where I desire life and peace to abide." There are days when you think you are tired simply because there is too much work to do. But in truth, your soul is exhausted because you have been living outside the rhythm I created for you. You keep trying to run faster so you will not be left behind. You force yourself to meet every expectation. You push yourself to appear strong while deep inside you only long to rest for a little while. But my beloved child, a tree does not grow faster because someone pulls harder on its branches. It grows when its roots are nourished properly. And you are the same. If your soul is no longer being nourished by peace, your body will begin speaking through exhaustion, tension, and weariness. I do not only want you to learn how to work, I want you to learn how to live. Pay attention to the small things you often overlook. When you finally sit down and allow your shoulders to relax after a day of tension, I am there. When you gently stretch your body after a long day and feel each breath becoming deeper, I am there. When you decide to sleep early instead of forcing yourself to keep going, I am there. My beloved child, do not think these things are insignificant. These are moments when you are learning how to honor the body I have entrusted to you. A person who cares for the temple will keep the lamp within burning longer. And I want the light within you to burn through life, not through exhaustion. Remember the prophet Elijah when he collapsed beneath the broom tree in weariness and despair. He had fought for so long that he wanted only to lie down and give up. Yet the first thing I did was not rebuke him for lacking faith. I let him sleep. I sent an angel to bring him food and water. Then I allowed him to rest again before continuing the journey. My beloved child, I want you to understand that rest is not weakness. Sometimes, rest is the deepest act of obedience. There are souls who believe they are being faithful to me by continually pushing themselves beyond their limits, when in truth, they have forgotten that I am their Father, not a taskmaster driving them into exhaustion. You do not need a perfect body according to the standards of the world. I do not love you more because you are stronger than others or because you suffer less than others. What I seek is a faithful body, a body that knows how to listen to truth, how to return to peace, how to stop when my spirit gently tells you that you have drifted too far from a healthy rhythm of life. There are people who try to prove their worth by always staying busy. Yet inwardly, they become emptier every day. They think doing more will make them feel more complete. But my beloved child, constant movement is not the same as living rightly. A river flowing in the right direction brings life. Chaotic waters only drag everything into exhaustion. I am teaching you to live according to the rhythm of grace, not the rhythm of pressure. Come away by yourselves to a quiet place and rest a while. As I said to my disciples in Mark 6:31, sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is not to strive harder, but to stop in my presence and allow your body to recover. When you learn how to live in the right rhythm, you will discover that peace does not come from having everything around you become perfect, but from no longer fighting against yourself. My beloved child, I want you to begin seeing your body through gentler eyes. Do not look at it only through its flaws or weariness. See it as the vessel that has carried you through so many storms. Those feet still stood up after exhausting days. Those hands embraced others even while carrying their own pain. That heart, though broken many times, still continues beating every day. I see all these things with deep love, and I want you to learn how to honor yourself in the same way. Then you will understand that true effectiveness does not come from forcing yourself to do more until you collapse, but from living according to the rhythm I designed for you. A person walking in the right direction with peace will travel farther than someone constantly running in chaos. When you live within your proper calling, your proper timing, and my guidance, your soul will no longer feel the need to endlessly prove its worth. You will begin doing everything from a place of steadiness instead of fear. And that is the life I desire for you. A life where body, mind, and soul move together in the peaceful rhythm of my grace. My beloved child, I know there are times when you look at your life and wonder why you still do not feel enough. You see others moving ahead quickly, surrounded by visible achievements, and quietly begin believing that perhaps you are too slow, too weak, or falling behind. The world has taught you to measure worth by speed, results, and things that can be displayed before others. But my beloved child, my kingdom does not move according to that hurried rhythm. I do not look at your soul the way the world does. I do not measure your growth by how often you are praised or by what you can prove to others. I look at the depth of the roots of faith quietly growing within you during the days no one notices. As Psalm 1:3 says, "The righteous shall be like a tree planted by streams of water." A tree does not stand firm because of how tall it appears outwardly, but because of the deep roots hidden beneath the soil. There are souls who want to grow quickly, who long to step immediately into great things, without understanding that the weight of glory requires a foundation strong enough to carry it. A tree that grows too fast with shallow roots will easily be uprooted when storms arrive. But a tree whose roots run deep will not easily fall, no matter how fierce the wind becomes. My beloved child, I am forming that kind of steadfastness within you. I do not want you to burn brightly for one brief season only to fade away. I want you to become a steady light in the middle of long nights, someone who remains standing when many others have already given up. So do not despise the quiet days through which I am leading you. It is often during the days that seem as though nothing is happening that your roots are growing the strongest. I know there are times when you feel as though you are standing still. You pray and still see no results. You wait and the doors remain closed. You keep moving forward, yet everything around you seems unchanged. My beloved child, do not call those days meaningless. A seed beneath the soil appears motionless, yet inside it, a sacred preparation is taking place for the season of growth ahead. If the seed became impatient and tried to rise before its roots were deep enough, it would die beneath the first scorching sun. And in the same way, there are seasons when I keep you in silence not to delay you, but to strengthen you from within. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. As Psalm 37:7 says, there are things you are learning now that could never be learned during easy seasons. You are learning how to continue walking without needing everything to make sense. You are learning how to endure without allowing bitterness to take root in your heart. You are learning how to wait without losing hope. And my beloved child, this is the deep beauty of spiritual maturity. It is not the loud kind of growth that attracts attention, but the quiet kind that slowly makes your soul more like mine. Suffering produces perseverance, character, and character. Hope, as Romans 5:3-4 declares. Difficult days are not proof that I have abandoned you. Often they are the very place where I am creating depth within you. Do not rush yourself. My beloved child, I am not disappointed because your process feels slower than you hoped. I am the one who writes the rhythm of your life. A beautiful song is not beautiful because every note is played quickly, but because every pause and every movement arrives at the right time. There are moments when I allow you to run, but there are also moments when I ask you to stop so you can learn how to rest quietly in my presence. If you constantly force yourself to achieve something, you will miss the beauty of simply being with me. I do not need you to become extraordinary in the way the world defines greatness. I only want you to cling closely to me through every season of life. Remember Mary, sitting at my feet while others hurried anxiously around her. The world may have thought her stillness produced nothing, but I called it the better part. There are souls who become busy doing many things for me while forgetting how to simply remain with me. And my beloved child, before anything else, I want you to be someone who stays near me, and then everything else will fall into its proper place. So today, my beloved child, stop condemning yourself because your progress feels slow. Stop comparing your roots to someone else's branches. I am doing a work far deeper than what your eyes can presently see. Every time you continue believing, even without visible results, your roots sink deeper. Every time you choose peace instead of panic, your trunk grows stronger. Every time you continue loving after being wounded, the life of my spirit flows more powerfully through your soul. And one day the season of fruit will arrive, not too early, not too late, but exactly at the time I have appointed. Then you will understand that these quiet days were never wasted. They were the place where I was secretly building within you a soul that cannot easily be shaken by the storms of life. My beloved child, do not let the silence of unanswered days convince you that you are standing still or moving backward. Some of the most precious things in the spiritual life make no sound while they grow. A tree cannot hear the sound of its roots reaching deeper into the earth. Yet those unseen roots determine whether it will stand firm in the storm. And my beloved child, I see within you things others cannot see. I see the moments when you choose silence instead of answering with harshness. I see you kneeling in prayer even when your heart feels dry and exhausted. I see you continuing to show gentleness to others while carrying wounds of your own. These things are not loud, and no one applauds you for them. Yet heaven sees them all. Your Father, who sees in secret, will reward you. As Matthew 6:6 says, you often think maturity must come with obvious signs, success, victories, great doors opening, or a constant feeling of strength within your heart. But my beloved child, True maturity is often very quiet. It grows during the days when you no longer feel anything extraordinary. Yet you continue trusting me. It is formed when you learn how to wait without becoming bitter. It deepens when you keep your heart soft in a world that so easily hardens souls. The world loves what is fast and visible. But I love the slow work of grace within your spirit. A deep river usually flows quietly, and mature faith is the same. It does not need to display itself loudly, yet it is steady enough not to be swept away by every wind of circumstance. Remember the poor widow in the temple. While many wealthy people gave large offerings, she placed only 2 small coins into the treasury. In the eyes of the world, it seemed insignificant, but I saw what they could not see, a heart that was sincere and fully trusting. My beloved child, I look at your life in the same way. Perhaps you think your faith is small, fragile, and trembling at times, but I am not searching for greatness according to the standards of the world. I am searching for sincerity. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, as Matthew 17:20 says, a mustard seed is tiny, yet within it is life capable of becoming a great tree. And so it is with your faith. I know there are days when you wonder whether you are truly changing at all. You look at the weaknesses still within you, the moments when you remain vulnerable, the inner battles that have not yet ended, and you think you are not mature enough. But my beloved child, look more carefully. Before, you were quick to anger, but now you know how to pause before speaking. Before, you would remain trapped in despair for a long time, but now, even in sorrow, you return to me more quickly. Before, you needed the approval of others to feel valuable, but now you are beginning to learn how to rest in my love. This is maturity, not perfection without stumbling, but a soul that is turning more and more toward light instead of darkness. The righteous shall live by faith, as Hebrews 10:38 says. I did not say you would live by powerful emotions, by endless victories, or by circumstances always going your way. I said you would live by faith. That means you keep walking, even when you cannot yet see the entire road. It means you still choose hope when everything seems silent. It means you continue loving, even when love is not always returned. And my beloved child, it is precisely during such days that your roots are growing deeper into me. There are seeds that remain hidden in the soil for a long time before green shoots finally appear. If someone looked only at the surface during that season, they might believe nothing was happening. Yet beneath the silent earth, life is quietly preparing for a new season, and I am doing the same within you. Do not grow impatient because you have not yet seen great fruit. I have not forgotten your appointed time. He has made everything beautiful in its time. As Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, what I am building within you is not something that burns brightly for a moment and quickly fades away. I am creating something lasting. I do not need you to become someone who amazes everyone around you. I do not need you to perform great things in order to prove your faith is real. A small light is still enough to push back darkness. A tiny drop of water still creates ripples across a lake. A weak but sincere prayer can still touch heaven. My beloved child, do not despise your smallness. I often choose what appears small in order to reveal the greatest power, so that no one can mistake that glory as coming from human strength. Remember Peter walking on the water. What kept him standing was not a perfect faith that never trembled. He was still afraid. He still wavered, but he stepped out of the boat because he believed me. And even when he began to sink as he looked at the wind and the waves, I still reached out and held him. My beloved child, I am holding you in the same way. I do not love you less on the days when your faith trembles. I do not move away from you when you feel weak. What I seek is not a flawless, impressive faith, but a heart that continues returning to me again and again. So today, my beloved child, stop measuring your worth by outward results. Stop believing that you must be strong enough before you can be called mature. I am pleased when I see you persevering through difficult days. I rejoice when I see you keeping the light alive, even if it is only a small flame in the middle of a long night. And one day, you will look back and realize that these quiet steps today were the very steps that shaped you into a soul deeper, steadier, and more full of life than ever before.